Replimune just won one of the most dramatic FDA approvals in recent cancer drug history, and it came with a partner everyone in oncology already knows, Bristol Myers Squibb. The FDA has granted accelerated approval to Replimune's Tudriqev, also known by its earlier name RP1, in combination with Bristol Myers Squibb's nivolumab, sold as Opdivo, for adults with advanced, unresectable melanoma of the skin, whose cancer kept growing despite prior treatment with a PD-1 blocking antibody. To understand why this approval is such a big deal, you have to understand how close Replimune came to losing this drug entirely. The FDA rejected Replimune's application for Tudriqev not once but twice. The first rejection came in July of last year, when the FDA said the trial behind Tudriqev, called IGNYTE, was not an adequate, well-controlled study, and that the results could not be properly interpreted because the patient population was too mixed. Replimune went back, resubmitted, and got hit with a second rejection in April, this time from a different FDA review team that said the data did not clearly show how much of the benefit was coming from Tudriqev itself versus from nivolumab alone. Replimune pushed back hard, arguing the second review team's conclusions actually contradicted what an earlier FDA team had told the company directly. Then, in a remarkable turnaround, everything flipped in about 4 months. Replimune resubmitted its application a third time, and on July 30th, an FDA advisory committee voted 10-3 that the efficacy data for Tudriqev and nivolumab were evaluable and clinically meaningful. Replimune's chief executive, Sushil Patel, told investors afterward that the public advisory committee hearing created, in his words, tremendous awareness and physician support for RP1. Just about a week later, the FDA granted accelerated approval. The approval itself rests on data from the IGNYTE trial, a phase 1-2 study that Replimune ran in collaboration with Bristol Myers Squibb, testing Tudriqev together with Bristol Myers Squibb's nivolumab in 140 adults with stage 3B, 3C or 4 unresectable melanoma. Among the 91 patients in the efficacy evaluable group who had at least one tumor lesion that was not directly injected with Tudriqev, the combination of Tudriqev and nivolumab produced an objective response rate of 24.2%, with tumors responding for a median of 14.1 months. That non-injected lesion detail matters a lot here, because it shows Tudriqev plus nivolumab isn't just working on the tumor being injected, it is triggering a broader immune response that goes after cancer elsewhere in the body too. Mechanistically, Tudriqev is a genetically engineered herpes virus. Replimune deleted 2 of the virus's own genes, so it can no longer cause disease the normal way, and then added in a human immune signaling protein called GM-CSF, along with a fusion protein taken from a different virus that helps it spread between tumor cells. Once injected directly into a melanoma lesion, Tudriqev replicates specifically inside cancer cells, causing them to burst open, which floods the area with tumor proteins and inflammatory signals. Paired with Bristol Myers Squibb's nivolumab, which releases the brakes on the immune system's T cells, the idea is that the two drugs together train the body to recognize and attack melanoma both at the injected site and everywhere else it has spread. Because this is an accelerated approval, it is not the final word. The FDA is requiring Replimune and Bristol Myers Squibb to confirm the benefit in a separate, larger trial, and that trial, called IGNYTE-3, is already underway, comparing Tudriqev plus nivolumab against a physician's choice of treatment in patients with unresectable stage 3B through 4 melanoma. If that confirmatory trial holds up, Tudriqev could move from accelerated to full approval. If it does not, the FDA could pull the drug from the market. For now, though, after 2 rejections and a fight over how to read its own data, Replimune has its first approved product, built on the same nivolumab partnership with Bristol Myers Squibb that made this whole approval possible. That is the story of Replimune's RP1 wins FDA approval with Bristol Myers Squibb's Opdivo for melanoma. Add your perspective in the comments, share this story with a colleague, and subscribe for the next ConferenceHype narrative.